I think it raises some questions, but sadly, it's just a reflection of the scale of the problem we're dealing with today in Europe. In the United Kingdom, we have 20,000 individuals on a watch list, and we simply don't have enough authority and enough police forces to be able to monitor these people on a 24 hours basis. So we have to categorize the level of the threat. We have individuals who are very high up, almost imminent to be ready to launch an attack. What I think is interesting about this case is two things. One, history, which is something we've seen quite regularly in the case of jihadists. And the second is the networks as well. Of course, now that the individual is dead, Islamic State might claim it, but more importantly, we're able to get access to a lot of intelligence and get access to networks and understand exactly how this person was able to do what he did today.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the possible links to the Islamic State group there, and I'm just wondering whether we're right to be treating those claims with caution, because of course the Islamic State group saying this man was one of their soldiers. Does that sound feasible to you?
Well, yes, I think it does. We have to keep in mind here that they have claimed it because this person is now dead. So they have come out and mock and put forward an official claim. And the modus operandi of how this person conducted the attack is similar to what they preach in their propaganda. Having said that, however, there is a big difference between being trained directly by a group, as we've seen a lot of training has taken place in Libya in the past with other attackers in Europe, and just being influenced by a group and being what is essentially a self-starter, somebody who often has a history of violence or mental health issues and is then radicalized completely by themselves with very little connection. And it's just a free thing then that this group can claim because it's happened, and they can call him a soldier because he's done what they've asked people to do in their propaganda.
Yeah, and of course, we've been talking a bit about the profile of this individual and the fact that we're seeing history repeating itself almost to the day 6 years ago. Mohamed Merah was on a shooting spree in Toulouse, also in the south of France. And I'm just wondering whether, again, this is an individual who was known to the authorities. He had one of these dossiers, it's called an S-file here in France, where he's deemed to be a threat, but not necessarily an immediate threat. Is there any way, and have you heard of any studies or any success or breakthroughs these last few years in terms of de-radicalizing someone once they've already started to go down that road? Is there anything that can be done to bring them back from the whole sort of radical route that they've started going down? Nikita?
Yes, there's a remarkable amount of work we can do, and we have been doing successfully. Sadly, this case today is the example of what we call a false negative. So of the 19,999 individuals who may be on a watch list who have not committed a terror attack, there will be the one who does and who has access to homemade materials or a gun and goes on a killing spree and says that it's for an organization claims it. Yet that means that, a lot of this work that is being done already in a grassroots level by the police, by authorities, by even neighborhood police watches who are recording and reporting this, and mentorship programs, the things we're doing in jails, all of that seems to not be as successful because one has slipped through the net. And so I think there have been a lot of breakthroughs in this area simply because there's so many individuals who have not done these kind of violent acts. They come through the breach. They aren't radicalized. Some of them de-radicalize and then go on to join organizations to mentor those who are radicalized and bring them back from exactly as you said, bring them back from that point where they're ready to commit acts of violent extremism, both in Islamist and far-right groups. So we are making a lot of progress in Europe and in France and in the United Kingdom. And we can't let an incident like this, make us feel like we've made no progress at all.